This video is a follow-up to last week's quick start guide where we took a look at some of Krita's drawing tools. This tutorial covers the basic use of selections, filling, alpha lock, but also transform tools to become more comfortable with Krita. Let's get going. All of Krita's selection tools can be found at the bottom of the toolbar. There, we can find all of the classics of image editing software: rectangular, elliptical, outline or polygonal selections. But we can also find a color-based selection tool as well as one that revolves around the use of Bezier curves, as you may have seen in vector drawing software. The four first selection tools work about the same way. You can click on one of these to select it. Then, you can click and drag on the canvas to create a selection. Krita offers multiple selection modes, as we can see in the Tool Options panel. We can add, subtract or even intersect selections together. We can enter the Add mode by pressing the A key, and pressing the S key triggers the Subtract mode. There are two more selection-related shortcuts that we have to learn on top of those. Ctrl-A selects the whole canvas, and Ctrl-Shift-A, the most important key combination, deselects everything. You'll have to use this shortcut often to clear your selections. Krita's Fill tool is one of its strong points. Strangely enough, it doesn't have a shortcut by default. We are going to fix this issue straight away by going in the Settings menu and then clicking on Configure Shortcuts or pressing the H key. In the search bar at the top of the window, you can enter the word Fill to filter down the options linked to the Fill tool. The Fill tool is actually hidden behind this first line in version 2.9. To personalize the shortcut, you first have to click on the line, then on the wrench icon next to the word Custom. The button invites you to input a single key or a key combination. I decided to use the G key as it corresponds to Photoshop's shortcut. If a key combination is already being used elsewhere, as it is the case in here, Krita will tell you with a little dialog box. You just have to click on the Reassign button to reassign the shortcut to the selected function or tool. You can finally confirm your change by clicking on the OK button at the bottom of the window. Krita's default shortcuts lack a bit of efficiency to my taste, so I invite you to study the functions that you use the most and to come back to tweak your shortcuts on a regular basis to improve your workflow. Thanks to the search bar, it's a really simple process. Let us now talk about the paint bucket itself. This tool allows you to fill a selection, a layer, or the inside of a closed stroke. You just have to place your cursor inside of a selection or a shape and to click to fill it. As you can see in the Options panel, the Fill tool has a few parameters. If you want to fill silhouettes efficiently, you first have to deactivate the Fast mode. This mode improves performances, but it doesn't take other parameters in account and produces crenulated results. You can then add several pixels to the Grow Selection slider. This option either reduces or extends the fill so that it covers the boundaries of your selection. The third slider can help to soften the contour of the fill, but it has a strong impact on performances. The three checkboxes you can find below the sliders respectively allow you to fill your whole selection without taking into account the paint on the canvas, to only take into account the current layer, or finally to use a pattern instead of a color to apply the fill. Now we are going to take a look at Krita's options to preserve our alpha channels. You can lock the alpha channel of a layer by clicking on the fourth icon below its name. This locks the alpha channel of this layer and this layer only. We can achieve the same result by triggering the brush's Preserve Alpha mode in Krita, which is very handy if we need to preserve the alpha of many layers. We can find the Alpha Lock icon at the top of the interface to the left of the Flow and Opacity brush sliders. Clicking on it activates the brush's Preserve Alpha mode. Once you have activated the option, the brush will respect the alpha channel of any selected layer. I chose the slash key as a shortcut for this function, which is the shortcut to lock a layer's alpha in Photoshop. You can add this shortcut yourself by searching for Preserve Alpha in the Configure Shortcuts window. You can also use alpha inheritance for layers in Krita. This function is still a bit cumbersome to use though. You first have to create a group. Then you have to put your parent layer at the bottom of the group. The next step is to create a layer above our parent fill and to click on the icon that looks like the alpha symbol. A layer with the alpha inheritance option on will inherit the alpha channel of the layer at the bottom of the group. And you absolutely need your layers to be contained in a single group for the manipulation to work. To my knowledge, there is no way to get a similar result in a single click or using a single keyboard shortcut, as in other drawing software. Because of that, I favor the alpha lock instead in Krita. Let's now move on to the best part for the end of the video. Let us talk about transforms. We are going to take a look at the basic free transform tool, which is the one you are going to need most of the time. Krita's advanced transforms are really interesting, but their performances are too weak on version 2.9 for us to rely on them. Regardless of whether we selected a layer or part of a layer using any selection tool, we can activate the free transform tool by pressing Ctrl-T. Using the handles on the corners of the transform box, we can change the scale of our selection. If we keep the Shift key down, we can constrain the scale to preserve the proportions of our selection. We can also produce a shear effect by clicking on the border of the transform box. If we click and drag outside of the box, we will rotate our selection around its pivot. The pivot is represented by the little crosshair that you can find in the middle of the box. You can change its position by clicking on it and dragging it around. The free transform mode offers another surprising functionality. By keeping the Control key down and clicking outside of the transform box, we can rotate our selection in space around its pivot. This is a powerful tool to give more volume to a shape or to transform it in perspective. Krita's transform tools possess another great strength. If you transform a group of layers, the deformation will be applied individually to each and every of the layers inside of that group. And this regardless of the transform mode you're using. Cherry on the cake, it also works in combination with selections. And this concludes this quick start guide dedicated to Krita. Over the last two videos, we have taken a look at all sorts of functions that should allow you to get quite comfortable with this lovely piece of software. Please don't hesitate to like the video and to become a subscriber. This channel keeps on going and growing thanks to your support. You have questions, critiques, or suggestions? Tell me in the comments below or on social networks. I want to thank you kindly for watching. Be creative, have fun, and until next time.